After being criticized repeatedly, Donald Trump finally decided that he was going to release his plan to ease inflation and consumer prices, which he did this week, folks. He released the plan, but he didn't do it as a, executive order. He didn't put it out as an official presidential memo. Instead, he does what all great leaders do and just put it as a post on Truth Social. But here is Donald Trump's plan to address inflation and bring down prices for you, the consumer. From the man himself, he said, quote, "Because Jay Powell and the Fed failed to stop the problem they created with inflation," I'm going to have to go ahead and stop right there, folks. He is, of course, referring to the fact that Jerome Powell did not lower interest rates this week, which Donald Trump wanted. But if they lower interest rates, it would actually make inflation worse. The Fed didn't create inflation. In fact, they helped it go down by raising the interest rates, which, yes, hurts, but it's a necessary hurt in order to get things down. They did the right thing, and now Trump's mad about it. He's mad that they are actually helping inflation, so he's going to come along and blow the whole damn thing up. He continued, "I will do it by unleashing American energy production, slashing regulation, rebalancing international trade, and reigniting American manufacturing. But I will do much more than stopping inflation. I will make our country financially and otherwise powerful again. The Fed has done a terrible job on bank regulation. Treasury is going to lead the effort to cut unnecessary regulation and will unleash lending for all American people and businesses. If the Fed had spent less time on DEI, gender ideology, green energy, and fake climate change, inflation would never have been a problem. Instead, we suffered from the worst inflation in the history of our country," which, well, none of it's true. To be perfectly honest with you, none of that is true. But that was not even the worst inflation this country has ever seen. It's actually been way, way, way worse. So, everything the man said is not only a lie, nothing that he suggested would actually help ease inflation. In fact, most of these things would make our financial problems so much worse than they are. Let's start at the beginning. Unleashing American energy production. Over the last 4 years, the United States domestically has produced more fossil fuels than at any other point in history. We are not suffering from a shortage of oil. We're not suffering from a shortage of fossil fuels. And even if we ramp up production here in the United States, as we have over the last 4 years, did that bring prices down for you guys? Did that do a damn thing to help you? No, it didn't. Oil prices are set on the international stage. So either we can completely pull out of OPEC, which of course is not an option for this administration, or we produce more oil that goes and gets sold on the global market and doesn't stay here in the United States, and we continue to import most of our oil. Because that's what happens now. I don't know if everybody realizes that, but that is how energy production in the United States actually works. We're not pumping oil out of our ground and then sending it to the local refinery who then sends it to your local gas station. That's not how that works. And it does worry me that most people don't know that. Oil is sold on the international market with prices set by OPEC. That is what happens. So his first idea, unleashing American energy, that does nothing. You're not paying a higher price for eggs because gas went up 10 cents a gallon. That's not at all what's happening. The other thing, slashing regulation. Oh, dear God in heaven above. Regulations are not causing price increases. In fact, as I wrote about for many, many years while I was writing for DeSmog blog, every regulation put in place in the United States, for every $1 spent on enforcement, it generates $7 in economic activity. So these regulations that Republicans say are actually hurting our economy are doing the exact opposite. They're providing more money into the economy. Those are things that actually keep your prices down. Morons. Rebalancing international trade. Well, we know what that means. That means tariffs on anybody and everybody, right? Tariff here, tariff there, tariff everywhere. That's going to make your prices go up, by the way. So far, 3 for 3 on doing absolutely nothing to address the issue that he's attempting to address. The fourth one, reigniting American manufacturing. Could you be any more vague? Like, what does that even mean? Those are words, absolutely. They're words used in a sentence. But they're words that mean nothing. We're going to reignite American manufacturing. Fantastic. How? How are you going to get these companies who are getting tax breaks for shipping jobs overseas, spending pennies on the dollar for workers in these other countries than they'd spend? How are you going to get them to come back? What are you going to do? The answer is nothing. You're not going to do a damn thing. You proved that in your first 4 years in office when you said the same thing. We're going to reignite American manufacturing. These companies are coming back. None of them came back. None of them. So 4 for 4 now, right? Treasury is going to lead the effort to cut unnecessary regulation on the banks. Yeah, what's the worst that could happen there, right? It's not like we have in our very recent history any examples of banks being deregulated and then causing massive financial problems that resulted in a housing market crash, a banking crash, and the collapse of several major banks, right? That never happened. I just made that up. And I say recent history, but again, I guess, God, at this point, it was 18 years ago. I've been doing this way too long to think that was recent, but it was recent enough that idiots like Donald Trump should remember what happens when we do that, because that is exactly what happened. We deregulated the hell out of the banks during the Bush years, and then oopsie-doo, massive economic collapse that, as per usual, took a Democrat coming back into office to fix it all. If the Fed had spent less time on DEI, gender ideology, green energy, and fake climate change, inflation would have never been a problem, he says. If you believe that you paid more at the grocery store for milk, or that you're currently paying more for eggs or gasoline or literally anything, if you think the reason you're paying higher prices is because of diversity, equity, and inclusion, then you may need to get your head examined. And that is the nicest thing I can say. Trust me, there are a lot of other phrases bouncing around in my head that I know would not play very well. But you're an idiot. You might be the dumbest person on the planet if you believe that any of those things have caused your prices to go up. But that is it, folks. That's his economic plan. That's the thing he's been telling us for years now, like, I'll bring prices down by doing all of these things not related to prices, but that all end up being massive giveaways to corporations. He doesn't care about you because he doesn't have to care about you. He's not going to face another re-election. His loyal MAGA base with those ill-fitting MAGA hats, they're still going to give him money. He doesn't care. We're screwed. And all of these so-called solutions that Donald Trump is about to enact are about to make the economy so much worse than anybody could imagine. Thanks for watching today, everybody. And don't forget, if you're not already, please do subscribe to this channel. We have fresh content going up every single day, and I would really hate for you to miss out on that. And speaking of missing out, if you're not following me across all other social media outlets, then get on it. You can follow the links in the description of this video.